Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to talk about why the Object 752 is really the only tier 9 premium that you need in the game. Well, when I say need, that's a very strong word. Should we say, if you are going to buy a tier 9 premium, why this is the only one that really should be on, well, it should be top of your shopping list. The Object 752 went into the game pretty early with regards to tier 9 premiums. It's been in the game for a year and a half now, going into Christmas loot boxes, and since then it's been sold a few times. And I do expect with more and more premium tanks going into the game now, I wouldn't be surprised if, at tier 9, I should clarify, I wouldn't be surprised if Wargaming are going to be releasing this one anytime soon yet again. So why is the Object 752 just so outrageous at tier 9? Well, it isn't the damage per minute. This thing's damage per minute is 1,700. That's not great at all. However, what it does have is a 3-round autoloader, so it can save up 3 shells to be able to deal 1,170 damage, although it takes 6.4 seconds to be able to deliver that mag, as it has a 3.2 intra-clip reload. So it doesn't really sound that great, right, with regards to this vehicle's firepower. The firepower of the tank, relatively low damage per minute for tier 9, definitely not the biggest magazine that you can get. And now that you've got a vehicle like the Medved inside the game, you with its really big 122mm autoloader that can do 440 damage roughly every like 3.75 seconds, you think that the Medved would be just a grade above this vehicle. But really, what it comes down to is that armor is one of the most underrated stats when people are looking at tanks. They still don't respect that armor is just absolutely king inside World of Tanks. And I know people will go, oh, but all of the gold rounds, you know, armor is irrelevant. Well, this vehicle's so bonkers that even with people spamming gold at it, they still from the front have to hit kind of like the lower plate on this vehicle. The upper plate is very strong, and even like the mid plate is strong as well, so they have to hit like the lower plate on this vehicle to be able to conquer the 752 and start to take away a few of its hit points. Just like that shot from that conceiver. Good stuff from that conceiver there. This vehicle as well, its side armor at 140 means that you can over-angle it, and with its very well angled armor, it quite often just pulls off ricochets. Now, there will be some situations where heat rounds still manage to challenge the side of your vehicle, or even very large caliber guns getting bizarre kind of penetrations, maybe off kind of like the upper deck. But more or less, the side armor on this tank is absolutely brutal. And even, as you can see here, you can raise your gun to protect your weak points on top. Combine that with 8 degrees of gun depression, you also have flexibility on a ridgeline, and the vehicle, it's not that slow. It's able to go at 35 kilometers an hour base top speed, and with a turbo, which I'm electing not to use in this, you know, you can pump it up to 40 with a regular turbo inside a mobility slot, or you could even get a level 3 experimental turbo on this vehicle and get it up to 40 and then 41 if you took engineer on your driver's skill as well. So all in all, like the 752 is just this well-armored juggernaut that can just really punish its opponents with this autoloader. And when you add to that the fact that it gets very decent gold penetration of 310, very nice for an autoloader to have APCR at tier 9 there, not to have something like heat, like you'd have on the Progetto, the Italian tier 9, or even on something like a Toro, right? Which is just an autoloader that just fell flat, and nobody really wants to be playing that vehicle. And you'd be crazy to want to play the Toro or purchase the Toro when you could be able to get your hands on this instead. It's mad, this thing's armor, that you see that my opponents have exclusively fired gold rounds at me apart from that first round from the Chrysler, and yet I'm here ricocheting 1,100 damage, just overexposing this vehicle and just getting the job done. Now, it doesn't really destroy its opponents quickly, so it does need one of these games which is slightly longer, or it needs some support vehicles, you know, or some bursty damage in between a long reload of 34 seconds base. But as soon as you get the bond vents on this vehicle, which is definitely, if you're going to put bond equipment on any one of your vehicles at tier 9, this is the one that you should do. And then you'll hopefully slowly start clawing those bonds back with hopefully capping out that 100 bonds a week. Although it's still going to take you 2 years to be able to afford to pay back just 2 pieces of bond equipment on this vehicle, even if you were to cap out that 100 bonds every single week. But, you know, every little adds up. And if you have that bond equipment from playing Onslaught, or you have that bond equipment from the well-deserved reward, or just sometimes as well Wargaming's anniversary, which should be coming up in a couple of months, right? If you do have bond equipment lying around, definitely worth investing on this vehicle. And so this tank, it's just oppressive. You know, you get yourself in a position like this, and you just punish. You just absolutely punish your opponents. And when they make silly mistakes like double expose their tracks, then it's not good news. Not good news at all. Getting 800 damage there against the Conceiver, and also getting a very tasty 600 assistance. And so this vehicle, you can end up in these kind of situations where it's just this like low risk but high reward kind of gameplay with the way that your armor works out. And with only taking kind of like one hit and still having kind of like 2,000 hit points, or 1,990 if we're being exact here with that durability device, I've got so much left to give in this game. And when you're in one of these kind of battles where there's 4 tank disparity and now 3,000 hit points after I finally get penned by a BZ-68, then you know you've got your work cut out for you and a good opportunity. So it looks like I did just about over-angle this vehicle there. And you see that I make a micro adjustment to get it back on track and punish that BZ-68 for coming around the corner and trying to find another shell into me. Now, can I really go around the corner against this 263? This tank is not accurate at .42, and it doesn't have the best of gun handling, but that's why I've got the Bonvert stabs on this vehicle. But I still think good luck to me to try and get around that corner and get the 263. So at this stage of the game, the reason why I kind of slow played on that corner so much is it looks like just a perfectly innocent round, right? The enemies haven't advanced across the north, they're all kind of like chilling in their base, but then this is where the moment changes. You see the contenders working their way along the inside, the TVP finishes off the CS-52 lease on the enemy, on my team that is, and then this is where now it's time to start getting stuck in. Our base is vulnerable, we need to use the remaining 8 minutes of time to be able to vanquish the 9 remaining opponents, or 10 remaining opponents that we see. And so now it's time to start to not so much kind of like dip our toes into the bath, but say we don't have long, we got to go out, time to just get in, jump in, take the risk, and be able to see if we can claw our way back into this game. And with 1,000 hit points still, I wish I had a little bit more against the 68. We've got a good chance here. So we punish that IS-3. As you can see with the Bonvert stabs, the gun handling not even too bad on this vehicle, especially for such a powerful autoloader. And now I'm hoping, oh, Chrysler gets a cheeky shell through. But is the Chrysler going to mess up his angle here? Oh, not quite, not quite. Still the red indicator. Oh, there we go. Overturned, classic mistake on a rear turreted tank. We pick up our 4th kill of the game, now up to 6,000 combined. There's still a lot left to do. So with the 263 finished off here, I think it's time to hightail back to base and try to handle the 4 vehicles that are there. But there's still an E50 who hasn't been spotted in a while, so that's still a little bit of a risk as to where they could be. So we bounce a Type 68, raise the gun, as you should do on this vehicle whenever you're advancing towards your opponents, which makes the weak point on top not exposed, and the Scorpion G gets spotted for the first time. We auto-aim through the soft wall there, follow it up with hopefully a second shot, but I want to make this one count because we can still kill him in 2 shots as long as we don't low roll. Oh, talk about low roll, 340. Come on, Justice Roll. Come on, Justice Roll. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there. Scorpion G finished off, now up to over 7,000 combined. And I want to just stay hidden for a little bit until I'm no longer spotted. As I was thinking at the time, with an A phase 1 in the corner who's on half hit points, they should be able to hold on. But also still starting to realize, okay, base is vulnerable, got to get in, got to try and progress back. And this is where, you know, I wish I could just take 4 pieces of equipment and also have the turbo as well. But that durability device just makes you so good in those kind of town brawling situations. And that's what I thought that I needed at the time to be able to just get through this game. Win the town, win the game. But now, ooh, delicious Type 68 side. We go through the lower plate there, and as we're loading gold, we don't even really need to hit the lower plate. So beautiful. So I fall back, still with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the cap circle. The XM57 finishes off, and now I realize, do I have time? And I just saw a tree fall, but I'm not sure if I noticed that at the time. My 6th sense goes off, and then I realize, oh my word, I'm misjudging this situation. There's 32 seconds left on the cap, and I think this is just a case of old, slow baby there, not quite getting onto what needed to be done. And now, without the turbo, I'm hoping that I can get around the bushes, maybe spot some kind of a donkey. But this is an age-old classic mistake that I've made. And that is that on this map, if you have a chance at the start of the battle, you should always run down these buildings, because there's always the opportunity that your opponents could be able to hide from them. And with an autoloader, rather than a cyclic gun, I'm unable to shoot them down. And I just fire at the end, just hoping that maybe I'm going to be able to catch them. But the enemies cap out. What an incredible shame. But also, the game extends by 5 seconds, and so I can go, well, you know, Mr. Lorraine, I'll shut you down at the end anyway. And 7,500 damage, 1,300 assistance, and 6 kills. Not enough to win this one. Well capped by the TVP, well capped by the Lorraine. They made a relatively slow, without the turbo, lumbering heavy tank. They negated me in this situation and took down a well-deserved victory. But after this just gigantic game at tier 9, I still got more experience than anyone on the enemy team, and that's excluding my Courageous Resistance. So with Courageous Resistance, if we'd won, this would have been a 1,632 base XP game, and even after running out of standard rounds and firing gold, we make 100,000 credits profit without a booster. This thing is a pure apocalyptic nightmare, and there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this is the best tier 9 premium tank that you can get your hands on if you can manage to master its gameplay. It has the best win ratio difference of any of the heavies, and even if we filter out if we filter in all of the other vehicles, the only tanks that get a better win ratio difference than this at tier 9 are the T95 and the Tortoise. But those aren't premium tanks, at least yet. And if any of you are looking for other honorable mentions at tier 9 that aren't that aren't heavy tanks, I should say, I would recommend the DZT-159, very powerful medium, or the TL7, but only get the TL7 if you're a little bit of a sneaky smart player and you're willing to put the very best equipment on it. And if you're still looking for more recommendations, remember, I have my tier 8 and tier 9 tier list video where I rate every single tier 8 and tier 9 premium vehicle in the game. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was one of the biggest heartbreaks I've had of the year so far. And I truly think that only an overpowered vehicle like this could have managed to make that game so close. Hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful for you. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below, what is your preferred tier 9 premium tank to play and why? And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Friday, I'm going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with brand new drops tokens. So come grab them. And I think that this day marks the point where people are going to be getting the Panzer T25 for free. But remember, hold your tokens till Monday if you're collecting them as you go along, and you can get the T78 instead. Anyway, really looking forward to seeing you all live right now. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.